All right, let's talk about something that can make or break a startup. Cloud hosting, specifically for Drupal. We're going to break down how you can navigate this super complex world and tap into a massive, kind of hidden resource that could literally give you months or even years of financial runway.
Okay, let's just get right into it. Building a startup is incredibly hard. As a founder, you're supposed to be laser-focused on your product and your customers, but there's this constant, resource-draining battle happening behind the scenes, and that's the fight with your infrastructure.
Look, you want to be shipping new features, delighting your users, doing the fun stuff. The reality, though, you're often tangled up in the messy details of provisioning servers, patching security holes, and just praying the whole thing doesn't crash when you get a traffic spike. It's a huge distraction from what actually grows the business.
So this is the classic startup hosting dilemma. But what if I told you there's a treasure map? A map that leads to a massive shortcut around all this pain. Let's start by taking a look at the treasure itself. So here it is. Microsoft, through its Microsoft for Startups programs, literally offers a treasure chest of free Azure credits. They are designed to completely cover your infrastructure costs. But, and this is really important, the amount of treasure you can get varies a lot.
So right off the bat, pretty much any new startup out there can snag an initial $1,000 in credits just for signing up for an Azure account. Super simple, no crazy application or anything.
And then, after a quick business verification, that number can jump up to $5,000 in total credits. Think of this as kind of the baseline for most early-stage companies.
But here's where it gets absolutely wild. For funded startups, especially if you're connected to a top-tier network like Y Combinator, the grants can explode to over $350,000. I mean, just think about that. That is a truly game-changing amount of capital you don't have to burn on servers.
So, what this all boils down to is two main paths you can take. There's a self-service foundation program for the early stage, bootstrapped folks to get those first few $1,000s, and then there's the high-value investor network for funded startups, which is how you unlock those massive six-figure grants through your investors.
But here's the thing. Getting the credits is just step one. Once you've got the treasure, you're suddenly standing at a crossroads. And there are 4 very different paths you can take to actually use it for your Drupal site.
All right, path number 1, the total do-it-yourself, manual setup. This gives you complete control, but it's like deciding you're going to build a car from scratch with thousands of individual nuts and bolts. You absolutely need some serious DevOps expertise and, frankly, a ton of time to assemble it all and keep it running.
Path 2 is way different. Here, you use an automation layer like DevPanel. So instead of building the car piece by piece, this is like owning your own personal automated car factory. The magic here is that the platform builds a professional-grade setup for you, but it does it all inside your own Azure account, so you still own and control everything.
Then we have Path 3, fully managed platforms. Think Akia, Pantheon. This is super simple, kind of like leasing a high-performance car. They handle everything, but, and this is a huge but, you can't use your Azure credits with them. You're paying them cold, hard cash every single month.
And finally, path number 4, Azure Managed Service Providers, or MSPs. The analogy here? It's like you own the car, but you hire a personal chauffeur and a full-time mechanic to take care of everything for you. They're an expert team that manages the infrastructure inside your account for a monthly fee.
Okay, phew. So 4 totally different ways to go. How on earth do you choose the right one for your startup? Well, let's put them side by side and see what shakes out.
All right, this table lays it all out. It really cuts through the noise. First, just look at that Uses Azure Credits column. See that? Managed platforms are an immediate no. You're paying cash from day one. Now slide your eyes over to DevOps team needed. The manual path? Yeah, you're hiring someone expensive. DevPanel is the only one that says no and lets you use your credits. This is where you really start to see how each option has its own superpower and its own kryptonite.
So with that comparison in our back pocket, we can actually build a specific playbook based on what kind of startup you're running. Let's figure out your smartest move.
First up, let's talk to the VC-backed startups. If you've got seed or Series A funding, your world revolves around one thing and one thing only: runway. You have to make that cash last while you go find product-market fit.
So for you, the playbook is crystal clear. Step 1. You leverage your investor connections to get those huge six-figure credits. We're talking 150 grand, maybe more. Step 2.
You use an automation platform to put all that free money to work without having to hire a pricey DevOps team. And why? Because this frees up your VC money to be spent on what investors actually gave it to you for: product managers and engineers building your actual product.
Okay, but what if you're on the other end of the spectrum? You're bootstrapped, maybe pre-revenue. For you, every single dollar is precious. Your prime directive is to minimize cash burn and just stay alive.
Your best move is to get scrappy and be smart. You grab those basic Azure credits, that $1,000 to $5,000, and you pair them with a free automation platform. This gets you a professional-grade, scalable infrastructure for basically zero cash out of your pocket. You then only pay for expert support by the hour when you are absolutely, truly stuck. This can literally add months to your runway.
All right, final group. What if your startup is in a regulated industry? We're talking healthcare, finance, govtech. For you, having an audit-ready infrastructure isn't a nice-to-have. It is absolutely non-negotiable.
The absolute key for you is owning your infrastructure. You have to pick a path where everything runs inside your own Azure account. So that means using automation or hiring a specialized MSP. Why is this so critical? Because it gives you direct, unfettered access to all the audit trails and logs you need to pass those tough compliance checks. And the best part, you can do all this while still using those valuable Azure credits.
So at the end of the day, this isn't just a technical decision about servers, it's a core strategic decision about your time, your money, and your startup's ability to grow. So I'll leave you with this question. With up to 18 months of free runway sitting there on the table, which path will you choose to focus on what truly matters, building your business?